Hello, I'm Anna Delaney with ISMG. I'm very pleased to be joined by Darshan Shantamurthy, CEO at SISA. Great to see you, Darshan.
Thank you, Anna, for having me here.
So we're talking about cybersecurity for digital payments. Can you talk about some of the unique trends and concerns in this space?
Yeah, so payment industry actually has three main concerns. One is, of course, their price targets for the intruders. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, if you look up the dark web, the cost, the price of a payment account or a data is about $10 to $320. That compared to an account on social media or a social media account, which costs about $25 for 1,000 accounts, which is roughly about 2.5 cents per account. So it's the payment data is about 1,000 times more expensive or more rewarding for the intruder. So obviously, when you are in the payment industry, you are up against a motivated criminal gangs and groups. The second big challenge which payment industry faces is high compliance standards. Regulations across the world have high compliance barriers, obviously because of the high trust that they need to maintain the ecosystem. For example, if I were to use a card data in a merchant, and that data actually does not belong to the merchant, but that data belongs to the card holder and the issuer. So the merchant or the acquirer who actually is acquiring the transaction has to make sure that the data is secure. So hence, card networks, regulators across the world have high compliance standards. And third, of course, is CXOs in the digital payment industry have, the space is growing. It's estimated that the digital payment industry is going to grow compounded annual growth rate of 21.1% in the next 5 years. So the business owners and the business in every organization are asking people, especially in the cybersecurity CXOs, to loosen their reins in terms of making sure that they are supportive to the business. So digital payment industry is and the people in the digital payment industry, especially the CXOs and CISOs, are having this conundrum between three. One is, you have the compliance, then you have security, and then third is high business growth. So which is very unique to the digital payment industry as we speak now.
So how's SISA responding to these three challenges?
One of the key things that we've, as an organization over the last 18 years have done is map ourselves over the years, of course, to the NIST, 5 control framework, right? 5 groups of security controls that is recommended. One is, of course, the identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. So we've got solutions across each one of those brackets. Identify, we've got our data discovery, data classification solution. Protect, we do assessments, managed solutions, manage protection for organizations. We help discover data in the dark web. And then, of course, we have our MXDR solution, the managed extended detection response, which helps organizations not just in detection but also respond and then recover from many of them as well.
And the digital payment space is massively expanding. What do you see as some of the unique threats and needs that are surfacing?
Yeah, so that's a very important question, Anna. In the digital payment industry, there are two major things which is quite different. So one is heterogeneous tech stack. What I mean by that is you've got POS systems, which ATM systems, which work on typical good old ISO 8583 messaging formats. You've got fraud management systems, unique fraud management systems, obviously because of ability to detect payments before it actually gets processed. And then you have new emerging technologies like, especially in the payment space, which is called now mobile acquiring, where a merchant could acquire a transaction out of his Android phone or an Apple phone. Earlier you could actually only process it, but you can now acquire it through new technologies, like the NFCs and stuff like that. So digital payments have heterogeneous technology frameworks, a technology tech stack which needs to get addressed, and then of course you've got high compliance requirements which are also very, very unique to the digital payment industry.
And I know your company, SISA, is also expanding. What are you unveiling? What new product are you unveiling here at RSA?
Oh, we are super excited at this RSA, largely because we've got a very focused solution for the digital payment industry. Our SISA Proact, which is the next generation of detection and response, is getting unveiled in this RSA conference, and we are super excited about it. We believe it's game-changing and will help the industry and leaders in the space to kind of able to defend their networks a lot better than what has been done in the past.
And talk about XDR. How does that fit into all of this, and maybe address some of the challenges you mentioned?
So managed XDR kind of helps in two big ways. Ways in which especially CXOs in the industry, in the digital payment industry, can really benefit. One is they now can focus on high value items, taking decisions, providing leadership, and the regular and the mundane and what I would say is the operations part of it gets handled by XDR specialists who do this for a living, such as ourselves, because at the end of the day, they can focus on what they are very good at, which is providing leadership, taking decisions, which is based on what comes in terms of alerts and responding and providing governance around that. So that's one thing that is really, really going to benefit, especially, what MXDR provides to the table is now organizations can focus on what they really should be doing in taking high value actions and high value decisions rather than focusing on mundane traditional tasks. And of course, it has its own 9 yards there is in terms of skills, technology improvements. It's a constant rigor which they don't really need to focus now. They could rather focus on what is critical for their business and providing that leadership and talking to their stakeholders and providing that leadership to improve detection.
Yeah. And there's lots of competition here at RSA Conference.
Yeah.
What makes you stand out amongst all the others?
Oh, it's a fantastic question, and one of the key things that we've tried to do is play to what we are been doing for the last 18 years. So our MXDR solution is for the digital payment industry. So we've got lots of these things focused towards, and we know the pain points of this industry much better than anyone does, having been there. So one of the other things that I should add also is that we are a core payment forensic investigator. We are one of the 4 global payment investigators approved by the PCI Security Standards Council, which is the entire card networks. So obviously we have a lot of threat intel which is focused towards the payment industry. Our customers are in the payment industry, who's who, starting from e-commerce to payment processors to third-party payment service providers, so on and so forth. So this is one key standing that key point that we differentiate ourselves. The second is, of course, we have our orchestration layer, which helps all solutions stacks in the cybersecurity space to talk, including payment fraud management systems, which is not done by anyone else. We talk to payment fraud systems within the digital payment ecosystem, which helps orchestrate, and we have obviously our AI engines correlating and making sure all this makes a lot of sense to our analysts. And third, of course, is governance. One of the places where we believe AI is still not got it right is in the governance piece. We still have humans actually managing governance, whereas AI is for identifying, detecting threats, making the job of our analysts a lot more easier, and we have 10x'd ourselves there. But where it comes to governance, where it's talking to a security operations officer or a CISO, you still have governance requirements, and that's where we are leading our analysts to do that and the key work. So that's the 3 ways in which we differentiate ourselves from our competition here at the RSA.
Well, Darshan, it's been very interesting and informative talking with you. Thank you so much for
Thank you, Anya, for having me here. Thank you so much.
And thanks so much for joining us. For ISMG, I'm Anna Delaney.